think what resilience has come to mean to me is when you are able to react quickly and rebound quickly when something goes wrong. I also feel like I feel like you got to be careful as a human of being, having big sine waves in your life where you're really happy and then get really sad and you get really, I think it's better just to be a little bit more steady. So I don't feel like resilience is a huge part of my life because I don't ever feel like I need to bounce back because even when something goes wrong, it doesn't affect me in a big negative way. So yeah, I would say that being resilient is being able to keep going regardless of what's going on. I think you have to be careful about when things are going good, getting too excited about it, getting too happy about it. And when things are going bad, you don't get too sad about it. I often talk about the fact from a leadership perspective, you're in charge of a mob. And when you're in charge of a mob, when the mob starts moving in a direction, they get the mob mentality and they all start going in that direction, which means when they do something well or an operation goes well or a project goes well and they all start getting happy and high-fiving, they think they can start getting a little bit arrogant. You can start getting a little bit complacent. So you as a leader has to be like, hey, yep, we did good. Here's some things we need to check on this and let's make sure we take care of this little problem that could have happened we didn't foresee. So you kind of hold them in check. And then the opposite is true also. When things start going bad, you do a bad operation, you have a bad project, you lose a bunch of capital on an investment that you made with the team, the morale starts to go down. You can't be part of that mob. You got to be the one that says, hey, look, we learned some lessons and we're not going to make those mistakes again, and we got more opportunity coming in the future, so let's go. So I think that just as a leader, you need to stay balanced in terms from a morale perspective, and that spreads to making sure that your team stays balanced from a morale perspective. And I think that if you have that mindset, resiliency doesn't come into play as much because you're not falling down a bunch, but because you're not putting yourself in situations where you're letting yourself get complacent.
How to develop resilience in yourself and others. I think this is a topic that is being talked about. I would say that probably over the next several years, it's going to be talked about even more.
I agree.
Coming out of the last couple of years and what we have gone through. I think it's an important trait for leaders to possess this themselves, but also their team, because it's going to help you guys work through tough times and setbacks. And so we need to understand that. And I think when you have resilience and you understand it, you're better equipped to handle those challenges and the uncertainties that come with times, economic times, with leadership challenges, whatever it might be that you are facing. I think being resilient is going to be something we want to talk about. So these definitely can be trying times for leaders. There's a lot of uncertainty. And there are challenges at every turn, and we love challenges, and we're motivated by it. But we need to talk about how do we become resilient as a leader in order to face all of those things.
Well, we're all going to face tough things, and I just find that resilient people find a way through them, and sometimes even get better coming through them, and they don't let, even though they do. There's no guarantee you're not going to suffer and have a hard time. You do come through it and you bounce back from it. My definition had always been the ability to rebound from tough or challenging circumstances. Resilience is the key to a well-lived life. If you want happiness or success, you absolutely have to be resilient to do that. So it's easy, I think, in our world to get caught in the mindset that I deserve a hardship-free life. Why can't things be easier? We find ourselves in uncharted waters or doing things that aren't any of our, the circumstances around us are changing. Yeah. The global pandemic, I can't control that. It left with uncertainties. Now we're in uncertain economies, what's going on. But developing this resilience to me has been, how do I move through these things and become better? And he even says happier because of it. So
that happens. That's the human condition, right? You bet the farm on this career. You put everything into it. You fully committed to it. You sacrificed a lot. You probably some of your time, your energy, your weekends, took away from family, and then it didn't pan out like maybe you were promised or you were told it would. You lost it all. You're given the boot. You're given the exit. Maybe the company got acquired by another company and they're like, hey, we don't need your position anymore. I've seen that happen to people. Maybe the economy is in a place where they're going to downsize you. Maybe they have a reason to get rid of you that they haven't told you. Whatever it is, that's the human condition. And as soon as you understand that the human condition comes with suffering after suffering after suffering in order to get to success, then all you're doing is what the Jehovah's Witnesses do. You knock on enough doors. Like currently it's one of the highest, fastest growing religions, yet they have to knock on 99 doors to get 99 no's to get one yes. So they know their metrics. So the same thing applies to business. Like, same with relationships. Like, it's rare for someone to be like, the first girl I dated is the one I married and the one I died with. Like, that is a rare thing. You're probably going to date several people. And in fact, you're probably going to get married to one of those people after making the right decision. And even then, there's like a 50% success rate, right? Because the other half gets divorced and maybe they learned a lesson there. And the second time around, hopefully things work out better. But we also know that there's a 50% divorce rate there. Third time around, hopefully things work better. So this is the human condition. You can't grovel in this pain. You can't do anything other than go, I'm still alive. I've got a heartbeat. I got value that I can add to any organization. And I'm going to go and reinvest in myself with a company that I believe I can add value to. And I'm going to demand this kind of pay or ask for this kind of pay. The alternative might be you look at this as a blessing. And he's like, you know what? Here's my chance to go all in on me. I lost it all anyway. Here's my chance to go all in on me. It does take a lot of failures, defeats, and adversity and suffering to get to the success. The road to success is paved with dead squirrels, potholes, and detours.
That's just kind of the way that life works sometimes. It's Murphy's Law. When things go wrong, they always seem to happen at once, and they just compound on top of each other. And it's pretty easy sometimes to feel beaten when you're faced with all those issues and all those problems, and they all hit you at the same time. But let me tell you, that doesn't mean give up. In fact, it means the opposite. It means it's time for you to fight harder, to dig in. It means it's time for you to go on the war path. And that starts with one of the fundamental laws of combat leadership: prioritize and execute. What's the biggest problem? What's causing the most stress? Family? Okay. Sit them down. Explain where you are at. Be blunt, be upfront, and then give them the simple plan of how you're going to get things back on track. Don't sugarcoat it. You give it to them straight. Next, you got some late payments. Call those creditors up. Explain to them what's going on. Set up some kind of a minimum payment plan, so you can start making some progress and get them off your back. And then you got your job, right? You're falling behind at work. Okay, talk to your boss. Face it. Tell him that you're going to step up your game. Tell him you're going to be at work early, you're going to be at work late, you're going to be at work during lunch, you're going to be wherever you need to be whenever he needs you to be there. Tell him you're going to get after it, and tell him that you're 100% committed to supporting him and the company and the mission. And then you get started. And I'm going to tell you right now, it won't be easy. It will be hard, because life is hard. That's what life is. And these challenges that you face, they're going to do their best to take you down. Do not let them. Stand up, dig dig in. Line up those problems and confront them, face them, fight them. Do not let them bring you down. In fact, let those challenges raise you up. Let them elevate you. Let their demands and their trials make you stronger. Let the adversity you face today turn you into a better person tomorrow. So in the future, you look back at these struggles and you say to them, thank you. You made me